Welcome to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. It supports the podcast and it doesn't cost you anything. Well, folks, I want to talk about Bitcoin. What is happening here? Bitcoin is pumping. It's currently at $48,176 at the time of recording. We're seeing some nice green candles here on the daily chart. However, I'm cautiously optimistic. It's not that I'm bearish from the macro standpoint. I'm bullish. I believe this year we will see new highs, and I believe we will see a blow-off top new all-time highs in 2025. So please understand my perspective. However, in the short term, what are we going to see? And I think Bitcoin is due for a correction. It may run up further. It may go up to about 55K and then correct from there. I think we go down to 35K, we build support levels, and then we work our way up. Now, some things that could help Bitcoin continue moving up, because I want to make sure I'm giving you all the facts, right? I'm looking at both the bullish and the bearish scenario. The NASDAQ and the S&P 500 continue to pump and make new all-time highs. It's crazy what's happening. And the DXY, the dollar currency index, seems to be correcting a bit. We have to let these things play out and see how the charts move and how the prices move. But the facts are, as of today, the stock market looking bullish, the DXY looking bearish. So we'll see how these things continue to play out. Some analysts and different folks on crypto Twitter are saying, look, imagine Bitcoin is going to double top here where it hits 49K or 50K and then corrects, right? That would be pretty brutal. Here, Coin Signals, they're highlighting that $48,646 is the fib 61.8%. So showing that a potential rejection could happen here, and then we go test the lows. Once again, this is not that the party is over or bull market's over. That's not the point. The point is, what can we anticipate as we go into the halving? Some folks are calling for 6 figures with a 55K worst case scenario. I don't think a 6-figure Bitcoin is happening by the halving. Is it possible? Of course, anything is possible. Is it highly probable? That's the question. And I don't think it's highly probable. I think we may correct now, but then start moving our way up into the halving where we are seeing maybe a 50K Bitcoin at that point, or maybe higher, maybe 60K. Or maybe I am completely wrong and this happens earlier and then it corrects into the halving. Maybe we have a buy the rumor, sell the news event for the halving because everyone's anticipating higher prices. Everyone's anticipating, some fireworks. But we've seen time and time again, just like the Bitcoin spot ETF launch, things could get choppy and the markets can do what you least expect them to do. Point is, buy the dips, buy the blood in the streets, and then sell the euphoria phase, sell the tops. That's the important thing. So you're walking away with a good ROI, you're walking away with profit, you're making money. So once again, different analysts, some are saying 100K by the halving. I don't trust that. When I see headlines like that, I don't trust it. But do I believe we are going to see 100K this cycle? Absolutely. And that could happen till in 2025. So just keeping it real with you guys on how things might play out. One thing's for certain, as Bitcoin continues moving, and even if it cools off here, the liquidity will flow to the alts and the alts will start moving. And we're seeing some of them, like Ethereum is up near 9.5% from a 7-day perspective. Solana up just over 11% from a 7-day perspective. So we're seeing liquidity flow to the alts. Now, folks, Charles Gasparino of Fox Business is reporting that the SEC is bracing for a major exodus among senior enforcement lawyers in its crypto assets and cyber unit, according to officials at major law firms who have seen several of the resumes. Fox Business is withholding names to protect privacy. The moves suggest that the bleed of senior staff under Gary Gensler's controversial leadership of the agency isn't letting up. So we're seeing people jump ship here because the SEC is getting called out publicly. They're losing cases. The debt box situation is a clear example of the judge looking to sanction some of these firms, or not the firms, the SEC lawyers. So that's pretty bad. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And then the SEC gets called out publicly for being arbitrary and capricious in their denial of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. And it took a victory in court for Gary Gensler to approve it. So why would you want to work under that? It's just horrible optics. Things are in a disarray, right? Just look at the launch of the spot ETFs with the hacked account and all of that. Just imagine you're working under that, right? It just sounds like it's a mess over there. And here, Justin Slaughter, who's policy director of Paradigm, he tweeted out regarding this news. He said, one of the worst kept secrets in DC is a lot of the SEC attorneys working on crypto enforcement don't actually want to be doing a total war ballistic attack against the biggest crypto firms when they instead could be doing more targeted enforcement. So this isn't surprising. That is telling. Remember, Gary Gensler is going after everybody now, whether you're a good actor, whether you got approved to do an IPO in Coinbase's situation, I'm going to go after you. That's ridiculous. There are tons of scams in the crypto market, as there are scams in every market, right? Go after the scams. Why are you going after the good actors? But we know it's a political move. Elizabeth Warren is pulling the strings, and the banks and TradFi, they control Elizabeth Warren. Matt Levine described this accurately as a drunk under the lamppost approach 2 years ago, and that hasn't changed. The out of the trenches frontal assaults will continue until legislation passes, SCOTUS rules against the SEC, or there's a new chair. Here he continues saying, and I'm sure that a Supreme Court that is set to rule a president that fomented an insurrection can still run for president will totally rule that all tokens are securities, and the SEC hasn't engaged in overreach. Very strategic, much forward thinking. Not sure about that, but anyway, these are his thoughts. But folks, the SEC is a mess, and the more people that are leaving, it's going to put Gary Gensler in problems. Remember, he's trying to get more budget, right? And I think he's going to lose out on that budget, and it's going to give Patrick McHenry and the folks in Congress more ammo to keep Gary Gensler accountable. The problem is, I know some of you have been upset by the lack of action. We just seen letters, but look, the Democrats control a lot, right? And Elizabeth Warren has a lot of power, so it's hard to do a lot. And Tom Emmer told me this in an interview. So they can really try to change the narratives and change the optics around Gary Gensler. Anyway, folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Do you think we see six figures by the halving? I don't think so, but I would love to get your thoughts. And do you think Bitcoin's about to correct soon? Once again, it will be a healthy correction because we are looking for higher highs. I don't care about 50K. We've seen 50K before. I'm looking for 100K and higher. And for that to happen, for it to be sustainable on the move upwards, we need to build support levels. That's where I'm coming from. Nothing more. I am not shorting in full transparency. If I was shorting, you could say, Tony, you're a bear, you're shorting, you're biased. All right, you could totally say that. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the 5-star rating on the podcast platforms, and I'll talk to you all later.